Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Nick Gray, and this here is the Honor 50, a device that's been on the market for a couple months now, but is finally making its debut over in Europe and is extremely important for Honor since it also has the Google Play Store pre-installed. As you probably know, the Google Play Store was removed from Honor devices due to trade restrictions between Google and Honor imposed by the US government, but now that Honor's doing things on its own away from Huawei, they can now install Google Play services and the Google Play Store. But as we do with all of the phones we get in, first we're going to be doing a quick unboxing to take a look at the hardware and then go out and take some pictures with this device to see how it performs in everyday use. And here we go. This here, as noted on the top, is the Honor 50, and from what we can see we have 128 gigabytes of storage and 6 gigabytes of RAM, though there is options for 12 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigs of storage as well. Removing the lid, we have the phone right up on top, and yes, they did. They sent us their unique holographic colors with the word Honor emblazed on the back of the phone. As you can see, there's the huge camera module on the back there with a 108 megapixel sensor. We'll get back to this in a second though to see what's inside the box as well. Looks like they gave us a case for the phone. Nice to see something to protect it right out of the box rather than having to purchase your own case. Always nice to have. On the other side here we have the SIM ejector tool. And then a pretty beefy charger here. This is a European plug, of course, and delivering 66 watts for fast charging, which is nice. And then a USB-A to what looks to be a USB-C cable for charging and data connections. And then finally, it actually looks like they have given us earbuds, something that we haven't seen in a long time. Of course, this does not have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. This connects over USB-C, but it's nice to have a pair of earbuds if you're into listening to music. Let's go ahead and pull the plastic off of this device. And I have to say, this is a stunning phone, and while the overall design might not look that much different from other phones that are on the market, this finish on the back definitely is. And the shape of the camera module on the top left-hand corner is a little bit different than what we've seen on other devices, with the main 108 megapixel camera right up there. Then we have an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera, and then two 2 megapixel sensors. One is a depth and the other is a macro camera. And then up front, if you can see it there, we have a 32 megapixel sensor right there. The main camera on the back of the phone can record 4K video at up to 30 frames per second. It could be 30 or 60, I'll have to check on that. But then the 8 megapixel ultra wide can only record 1080p video at 60 FPS, so you don't get 4K from both of those cameras there. And then the front-facing selfie camera can also record only 1080p video. When it comes to the display of the phone, you're looking at a 6.57 120 Hz OLED display, which looks really incredible and has a curved edge around the edges of the phone. And also, this is running a Qualcomm Snapdragon 778, which should make it a pretty decent phone for casual gaming as well. But one thing that we do want to point out again, this is running the Google Play Store right out of the box without any hacks or workarounds in order to get that up and running, giving you complete access to all of your favorite apps and games right out of the box. And then we're going to jump into the camera here, since this is one of the things that we're most concerned about, giving you a look at how this camera performs in everyday use. Let's take a look. And this here's a look at 4K video from the main camera on the back of the phone. Again, this is a 108 megapixel sensor, similar to what we've seen on some very high-end devices this year. So the video quality here should be pretty good. As I did mention before, the ultra-wide camera can only record 1080p video at 30 FPS. So if you want to make sure you can record ultra-wide video and main camera video at the same time without having to switch in the settings, I recommend keeping this set at 1080p all the time. And this here's a look at video capture from the selfie camera on this device. Again, recording at 1080p 30 FPS. And as you can see right behind me here, we've got a deer that always seems to want to hang out in our yard and eat all of the plants that we plant. So we really can't grow anything here just because these deer, actually there's 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. I don't know if you can see them there. I'll switch over to the main camera to give you a closer look. And there we go, 3 deer as promised. Do some digital zoom from the main camera there. This again is 4K video and digitally zoomed into 3x right now. And this here's a look at video quality from the selfie camera in low light conditions at 1080p, which is the upper limit again for what that selfie camera can record. Another thing I want to point out though is that as I'm taking these low light shots, I want to point out that the night mode is only available from the main sensor on the back of the phone and not the ultra wide. Not sure why that decision was made, but that's why you're only seeing those shots from that main camera on the back of the Honor 50. And this is a look at 4K video from the main sensor on the back of this phone in low light conditions. Seems to do pretty well, but I will have to switch over, as I mentioned earlier in the day, to 1080p video to give you a look at what ultra wide video is going to look like on this device. And there we go, made the switch to 1080p, and now we can record 4K video from the ultra wide camera on the back of this device. As you can clearly see, it's definitely not as good as that main sensor, not just for the resolution, but the amount of light that this ultra wide sensor can capture on this phone. And that's going to do it for this camera test with the Honor 50. Let me know what you think of the results in the comments below. I do have a full review of this device coming up, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.